Another day, another tweet about Manchester United and the illness of Manchester United's hate grows. Fear is growing in the Premier League clubs, not in rivals, not just rivals, because we can't talk about rivals. We can talk about rivals, but not just rivals. It's ones that wish they were rivals, wish they were on our level. Fear is growing in the Premier League, and Manchester United hate is plaguing amongst the Premier League. It is slowly but surely affecting every single Premier League club almost, and every single Premier League club is going to have a terminal illness that needs to be cured. That can't be cured, should I say? Let's start off with this. So, on Twitter, scrolling, and what comes up? This guy called Liam B. 0117. He responds to a tweet from David Ornstein dropping the exclusive Man United strike agreement. You know, it is the here we go type stuff with Benjamin Sesko. Now that deal's done. And he drops a nice little response. And he says here, do you remember when Jim Ratcliffe fired a bunch of working class normal people? I'm just going to say this once, by the way. Can we stop this thing in England? We always punish people in England for being rich. Just because they are rich doesn't mean they're not normal people. But you put working class normal people. It's fucking embarrassing, mate. Yeah, anyways. And told Gary Neville that United were on the brink of going bust, which was factually correct. I mean, I thought we had crippling debt. I thought we had 2 billion in debt, everyone keeps telling us. So factually, they were correct. We were close to going bust. And measures like this is what has stopped us going bust. A couple months later, with no European football and no major sales, they spent £208 million on 3 players. Listen here, Liam, mate. I really hate to break it to you. We have not spent 200 million this summer. We've spent 60 million this summer. But you know what? Because you're so thick, I'm going to have to label it out for you. That Man United illness, as I say, when people talk about Man United, they usually think more emotionally rather than logically. And this is where I have to cure, slowly but surely, when this channel gets bigger, we're going to cure the Man United sickness and hate. And we're going to start adding more logic to the world. Because if you live in England, as I always say, if you live in England, education is free. You should have no excuse to be thick. So I'm going to help this Liam, this poor fella, because he's clearly been brainwashed by Sky Sports that always put loads of images up of Man United buying players and net spending all this shit, and they put it in dollars, or they had 10 million in add-ons or whatever. So I'm going to break it down to you. Manchester United have not spent 200 million this summer. The same way Liverpool have not spent 300 million this summer. Clubs don't buy players and pay the whole transfer fee in one window. They spend the whole transfer fee over the course of 3 or 4 windows. For example, Mateus Cunha had a release clause. We are paying 21 million, I think it is 21 million a season for 3 years, and we're gonna pay off over 3 years. So this summer, which is it actually goes down from last year's books, doesn't go down this year's books. Last year's books, but this summer, Mateus Cunha cost us 21 million. Brian and Mbeumo cost us a similar amount as well. We're going to pay that over 4 years. No, in fact, I think Brian and Mbeumo was about 17 million or something like that, because we're going to pay that over 4 years on a Klarna thing. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe you have used Klarna. But if you haven't, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You pay it over. Every club does this, by the way. You know what I'm saying? It's the same with Chelsea, by the way. This is the same thing that was said about Chelsea. How can Chelsea spend all this money and all these players, etc., etc.? Because what they were doing was selling well, and they were paying, like Enzo Fernandez, they were paying that deal off over 8 years. They were putting players on 8-9 year contracts to have massive loopholes. So they were paying 12, 13, 15 million a year, etc. And they were paying it over fucking the course of the contract. And Man United, as I say, Brian and Mbeumo's cost us about 17 million on this year's books. Same across those lines. Benjamin Sesko, I imagine, will pay over 3 or 4 years. Will probably cost us 20 million. Is about 80 million. 76 million euros. 76 million and a half euros. Which will probably be paid over about 3 or 4 years. You know, 60 million quid or something like that. I'd say about 20 million maybe max. So far we spent this summer 40 million on this books, around that. And if you're going to add Mateus Cunha into it, We spent 60 million. 60 million on 3 players. That is not a lot. And Man United, by the way, this is what I'm going to get to. This is where the lies and hate and sickness and thickness and illness needs to be cured. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the first bit, fired a bunch of working class normal people. Yeah, he did. And then the club also released a statement saying, explaining firstly who they sacked, why they were sacked, etc., etc. But he also said we sacked him. He didn't lie to him. He also said we sacked him because of the fact we needed more money for transfers. And I hate to break it to you, brother, but if you get sacked from your job, it's usually because they don't need you or you're not doing a good enough job, or both. And clearly, we didn't need them. As he openly said, there were people on, I think, hundreds of thousands a year for jobs that they didn't need at the football club. And ultimately, that was costing the club millions over the course of seasons. That was costing us tens of millions that we could have spent on players, on wages, infrastructure, etc. Everyone mocks us for not having a great training ground. Ronaldo's saying it's rusty, the stadium's leaking. Yet now, we're starting to save tens of millions by sacking workers to improve the infrastructure. It's now a problem. And luckily, I hope that educated you. And luckily, the comments Man United fans are always, "It's Sir Jim, just saying thanks." Do you get what I'm saying? So really weird that someone who seems to have committed a big portion of his life to helping the homeless, extremely commendable, with defending a billionaire that dodges tax that would help the people you're fighting for. Do you get what I'm saying? He, for some reason, look, why as a Palace fan are you asked about what Man United do or don't do? Facts. Why is he's getting cooked in the comments? Why are you, as a Palace fan, caring about what Man United... What's it got to do with you? Why do you care what Man United... Did any of these people... This is where the Man United illness is... The Man United hate is an illness. None of these people did this type of stuff for the Glazers. None of them. The Glazers stay in 10 more years. I'm not even going to get into... Sorry about that. I've got someone come in my room. I'm not even going to get into what the Glazers were funding with Man United's money. I mean, it was hilarious that... I'm not going to get into... It's hilarious how hypocritical certain fans were in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I won't get into that, though. Well, that's the conversation for another day. But, as I say, none of these fans, not one of these fans, these set of fans, were ever on the Glazers like this. But Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they're all on him. What for? Why are you all on Sir Jim? What's he done for you to all be on it? Don't make sense to me. Why are you all on Sir Jim? Are you scared? Is that Man United hate? Is it fear? Is fear growing? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why a Palace fan would fear us, because, you know what I mean, they're just nowhere near on our level. Oh, but we finished above you last season. We won a trophy. You are a Tin Pot Club, mate. You're 2 best players ever, pretty much. Joined us. Well, yeah, pretty much. Shit, if we wanted to, we could have probably got Eze. We just didn't want him. Do you get what I'm saying? We got someone who's better, and Cunha. Anyways, Man United hate, Man United fear, Man United fear grows. Rivals are rattled. They're scared. And it's a sickness and it's a bug that needs to be cured. I'm out, people. Hit the sub button, hit the like button. Peace.